Okay, hi guys. This is the review video for uh team planning. Sorry, I just went blank a little there. It is the review video for team planning. So if you weren't here this day or you're just watching this video for extra review, go ahead and take out your workbook and have it open to, I believe it is page 23. It should say or it should have the three boxes and the big box where you have your team's arguments for debate. So let me just open it for you so I can just make sure. It is page, yes, it is page 23. So it should look something like this. So go ahead and open your workbook to this page. Okay, so we finally made our new teams for the new debate topic. If you were not here this day, I should have already sent you a kids note message telling you which speaker you are and what you have to do. So maybe if you are assigned as first or second speaker, that means you have to choose two arguments if you are first speaker, or one argument if you are second speaker. If you are chosen to be the whip speaker for this debate, then you do not have to choose any arguments, okay? But anyway, if you are not here this day when we did the team planning worksheet, please make sure to check Kids Note, okay? Because I should have sent you information regarding that. But anyway, so in class, we chose our teams. We should have also chosen if you are pro or con team. And then as a group, we should have chosen the three best arguments you want to use for the debate. So as it says right here, the first and second argument should be chosen by the first speaker. So argument number 1 and argument number 2 must be both first speaker's arguments. And then the last argument, argument number 3, should be just for the second speaker. So second speaker always only has one. Okay, so where it says first speaker here in this small box, please put the first speaker's name in this and the second box. And in the last box, please put the name of the second speaker. Okay, now after you have done that, go ahead and go to the next page where it says team planning worksheet again, but now you see all these boxes for refutations and rebuttals, okay? So I'm doing another review for refutations and rebuttals because we can always be better at creating more creative or stronger refutations and rebuttals. On the first box, this box on the top side of the page, it says possible arguments. Here, you are supposed to write the opposite team's arguments. Again, if you were not here in class, I should have sent you a Kids Note message with the information of the opposite team's arguments and your team's arguments, okay? So go ahead and copy that down. So put the opposite team's arguments in this top box where it says possible arguments and put it in number 1, number 2, number 3. Please do not copy mine. This is just an example. I'm going to get to this later, but do not copy this, okay? Now, after you copied the opposite team's arguments, then on the bottom box where it says our arguments, you just have to look back on page 23 and then just copy your team's arguments again and write it here where it says 1, 2, 3. Again, please do not copy this example. This is just here to show you how to write a good refutation or rebuttal. So I'm going to pause the video right now. You do that as well. First, copy down your the opposite team's arguments in the top, and then copy down your arguments on the bottom, and then let's continue. So pause the video. All right, so if you are not done with copying the arguments, just pause it again and just play it when you're ready, but I'm going to keep on going, okay? So let's review. What do refutations mean? Here, refutations mean attack, right? I always say, what is refutation? Everybody says attack. So it's when you make an attack on the argument. So here, you have to plan ahead. You have to create a good and creative and strong refutation for the opposite team's arguments. You have the opposite team's arguments. You know what they're going to say. Now here's a chance for you and your team to make strong refutations and to attack the opposite team, okay? So let's just pretend, for example, let's just pretend the opposite team's argument said, prisoners will not feel guilty of their crimes. So then you have to create what is a good and strong refutation, proving that this is wrong. So how do you write this? This is wrong because, please always start with this is wrong because, and this is an example of a good refutation. See what I wrote. Prisoners have to stay in jail for a long period of time for their crimes. That means they cannot spend time with their family or friends freely, and they can't be free to do the things they want. They must live in a cell alone and be forced to think about the wrong things they have done. So they will regret the crimes they committed. Not only does this refutation give one simple sentence saying why it's wrong, but it also gives explanations and details. This is what I expect a good, perfect refutation to look like. But a lot of our students will say something like this instead. So I see a lot of refutations like, this is wrong because prisoners will just stay in jail for a long time so they won't feel bad. Finish. But why won't they feel bad? If you give me more details, the more details and explanations you have, the stronger your refutation becomes, okay? And that gives you more points on the actual debate day. Remember, when I choose the winning team, I also look at how strong your refutations are. And I always tell you, guys, make sure you explain your refutation. Don't just say, this is wrong because this, period. You have to explain why this, how this, okay? So just use this as an example. And for your other arguments, try to write more details and include the explanations when you write your refutations, okay? Now let's move on to the bottom. So I did the same thing, but then now I'm going to show you how to write a good rebuttal. So again, let's pretend your argument is prisoners will not feel guilty of their crimes. So I just took this refutation and I copied it and pasted it here. So let's say you wrote this as your refutation, what we said in the top, right? Now, what is a rebuttal? So remember, the possible refutation, what I have here, this is just a guess. Now, if especially for you new debaters, you might have noticed that what your team planned on this page, the possible refutations that you guys guessed, sometimes it may be right, meaning sometimes on debate day, the opposite team will use the attack you guessed. Then that means your rebuttal can be used, right? You guessed correctly. You guessed how or what the opposite team might attack you on. But sometimes the opposite team may create a refutation that you didn't guess. So it's not the same as what you wrote here. That's why it says possible refutations. So in times like that, you guys have to try to create maybe not just one possible refutation, but maybe two. So that's why there are two boxes, okay? Now, I never tell you guys that you have to create two. I'm fine with one. But if you can think of two possible or even more ideas how the opposite team may attack your argument, please write all of them because you never know. The opposite team may actually say one of the two ideas you have. In that case, you're prepared. You're ready to defend your argument with the correct rebuttal. So anyway, let's say you wrote this as your refutation. Now you have to create a rebuttal. And remember, what is an rebuttal? A rebuttal. A rebuttal is attack on the refutation. So refutation is attacking the argument. Rebuttal is attacking the refutation and protecting your argument. So here it says an attack on the refutation, protection for argument. Now, how can we say this is wrong? So here I wrote, this is wrong because prisoners may have to spend some time behind bars alone, but spending time in jail can actually not make them feel guilty at all. This is because they know that they have to simply wait until their time in prison has ended. Once they are out, they can start re-offending again just as they did before. So our first argument is still right. Now, what is good about this rebuttal? One, like I said before, it doesn't just say why the refutation is wrong in one sentence, but it actually explains why the refutation is wrong with detail. Okay, so a bad example of a rebuttal would be something like this. This is wrong because prisoners won't feel bad because they will just sit in jail and when they go and they can just leave. So that is just a simple sentence, but here what I have in here, actually have details why they won't be feeling guilty, okay? So please, when you try to make your refutations and rebuttals for this time, try to add more details, okay? Like I said, the more details, the stronger it can be. And also, I'm going to say this one more time. Remember, you are making possible refutations for your arguments. You have to try to guess what the opposite argument how they can attack your team. So the more ideas you have, the better, okay? So try to think of more than one. If you can think of 2 or 3, that's great. Then that means you have 2 or 3 chances of using different kinds of rebuttals and being prepared to protect your team. And that's it. So if you need to hear another part or if you need to listen to another part of the video again, please go back to wherever you need. If you need to ask me questions, you can always, I just said attack. You can always just call and contact the Academy, or you can just wait for the next class to ask me questions, okay? But that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.